bouts, 6 wins, scaling 72.3 kilograms. Soliman! Across the ring, in the ring, he has had 27 bouts, 23 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, kilograms, the Ange,
Both competitors going in for instructions from the referee again, being Bruce Haynes.
There's no below the waist kicking on this fight, so opponents are not allowed to kick to the leg. So guys that can kick above the waist with more experience will have a bit more of an advantage. And I believe Sam is a very good high kicker, as you can just see there. But Ange is a pretty good boxer too, so it's going to be a very interesting fight to see, a bit more different rules.
Sam Soliman coming out of the blue corner, Ange Goussis out of the red. And we might be able to get some colour commentary out of Steve Contosis, but he has a management child with one of these kids, and that's Ange Goussis. How's he been going?
Well, both boys seem very keen. This is his first fight back after 18 months layoff, so he's keen to make a show of it.
A lot of aggression.
Well, I'm also a trainer at the same time, and some of these guys I train them myself personally, and if they're getting ready for a competition, they have to at least for 6 or 8 weeks train every morning and every night 5 or 6 times a week, and that's a lot of work for an athlete.
A lot of aggression. And again, stepping in, Bruce Haynes, really working overtime. He has refereed the first 3 bouts here. This is his 4th here today. Festival Hall, a capacity crowd. Tremendous Melbourne weather in March. In fact, it's amazing. It's like an Indian summer. And around about 27 degrees here at the stadium.
It does make it a bit difficult when the place is very warm. I'm sure the fighters are getting pretty exhausted themselves too.
And first round, gentlemen, how do you score it?
It's a bit of a messy round, actually. Both fighters not really doing all that much, apart from tiring each other out with some of the wrestling techniques. But I'm sure both boys will settle down and get into it.
So all contact in this round, in this bout, must be above the waist.
That's correct. A full contact fight means there will be no below the waist kicking, and as Steve said, it was a very close fight. Probably Ange had a couple of, probably Sam had a couple of couple of kicks to the head section of the body, and I'm pretty sure Ange's got some answers for him.
Up for grabs at the moment is the ISKA, Australian Full Contact Light Middleweight title, and I think this crowd is right behind both competitors so far. And the comments from our experts here, a little messy in round number 1. They'll be settling down. They'll be getting some words from their trainers at the moment to steady back.
I think so. Both trainers, very experienced trainers. In fact, 2 of the best trainers in the States. So
Paul Fifield, I think, in there for Ange Goussis is our other trainer.
Dave Hedgecock for Sam Soliman.
And Dave Hedgecock himself be our referee later in the evening. And
yes,
a very professional guy.
Dave Hedgecock will be refereeing the 2 main world titles tonight. And actually, talking about good trainers, we've got a couple of good trainers coming up later on the evening, and actually with Jamal Hassan, he'll be on corner of the 2 Australian fighters that's going for the world titles. He's another one of the very good trainers, and there's a couple of other good trainers in the crowd here. Australia is really picking up with its kickboxing, and our trainers are doing a big good job with that.
Goussis is the aggressor, and again. Breaking the clinch on the command from Bruce Haynes. Yes. An indication there may have been a headlock in that one.
I'm not saying anything.
Nor am I, because I didn't see it.
I think Ange wants to be an aggressive, straight, full-in, left-right kick, kind of a straight punch-kick fighter, where Sam wants to move around the ring and do some fancy stuff. Now, if you've got a fighter that's coming into you like a bully, it's pretty hard to do all that. So
he's keeping him contained, basically.
I think it's just going to boil down to fitness, and whichever guy is more fit at the end of the fight, if it goes the distance, he will be winning the fight.
Goussis again. Right with the head. Oh, left and right combination. Definitely a knockdown that time, no doubt about it. Goussis in the neutral corner. Sam Soliman now backpedaling.
Sam Soliman better keep his hands up now, and he's got this habit of dropping his hands too low because, like I said, he likes to move around and get fancy a little bit too much.
Goussis is ultra quick. Ultra quick.
Yes, it is. Oh, he comes looking for a good cross there. Sam just trying to come back into the fight there, which I think he done pretty well at the end of the round.
Well, gentlemen, certainly said it was going to change style from our first round. It tightened up. How do you see the points?
Well, it was very close that round, apart from the fact that Ange did drop him with that left-right combination. So at that stage, I put Ange slightly in front, but then again, I'm biased. So,
Tarek?
Well, like Steve said, they are settling down a lot more because, as we can see, there was a knockdown on that round. Obviously, get a clean shot like that, he must be settling down a bit more.
I must compliment the crowd here tonight. The response after our last bout, we had Mexican waves of call them what you will up the back, people rising to their feet. This is a real top enthusiast crowd here that have come to see great competition, and they're certainly getting that.
One thing I try to explain to everybody on my promotions that my crowd makes the show. People that come into my shows for the first time, they freak out on what they see. People that have been coming for regular times, they do know what's going on. My crowd makes the show. As much as the fighters put the fights on, the crowd put the atmosphere on.
they really do get behind the fighters. And the referee having some words to say to both fighters before this next round.
Yes, one would wonder what. We haven't got referee Cam at the moment, so we can't figure that. But Bruce Haynes doing a top job in there as referee. And aggression plus again, these two, the pace has not slowed down an inch. And again, Goussis in there, clinching over on the far side of the ring from our commentary point. Straight right there. Goussis saying it's over to the ref.
I think Goussis was complaining about a left back elbow there, but the referee probably didn't see it that way.
And now the ref having a word to Goussis.
Sometimes the referee's jobs are very hard.
Score 1-1, I think, on that one.
The referee's jobs are very hard here sometimes, Ian, due to the fact that you've got punching coming from the top and you've got kicking coming from the bottom, and sometimes they mix them the other way around, which makes it very hard for the referee to see everything.
I note Bruce Haynes stands back. I think that would be an advantage to him, would it not, to get the full picture, so to speak?
Well, I believe with the weight he's carrying, he's a bit slower than the other guy, so he has to stay a bit back.
Oh, all those big boys have got to stick together.
A little bit back, but...
Okay, Goussis again, trying to get that combination going.
Talking about Bruce Haynes is the, I believe, world concrete breaking champion.
And tile breaking, that's right.
Tile breaking champion, and I believe he just had a competition not long ago on national television.
The referee again reprimanding both boys.
And I guess this is the time to clean any little problems up. 5 2-minute rounds are scheduled for the decision in the Australian full contact line. Right hand.
That was a clean right hand there. Ange did come back on his feet very quickly. I think Sam might get a bit too cocky here, so he's got to be careful. Ange can come back just as strong and damage him back. Both of these fighters are pretty experienced, so they've got to really be careful.
And I say quite openly as a layman, I've got them about scored even at the moment, a knockdown each.
Yes, it's a knockdown each, and they've been both working a lot and doing a lot of scoring, Steve.
Yeah, I think that was definitely Sam's round with that knockdown. So,
how much help now is his trainer going to be? He's the other pair of eyes watching this. What would he possibly be saying at the moment?
Well, I'm not too sure, to be quite honest.
Well, what would you say to him at the moment yourself?
Well, I'd certainly tell him to keep both his hands up at this stage, because he is dropping that, particularly his right, an awful lot.
Speaking of Ange Goussis, incidentally.
Yes, that's who I'm speaking of as well.
Yes.
He is dropping his right an awful lot, which is giving Sam the opportunity to collect a couple on the button there. So that's one of the things I'd certainly be saying to him.
Tarek, what would you be saying as opposed to Sam Soliman?
Well, I've been a trainer for 12 years, so I've got a bit of experience on that one, I think. And I would be first trying to wake him up out of the fight. He looks like he's half asleep at the moment, just looking at him in the corner there. When I was on the corner of the boys, I usually just try to suck them up very strongly, and especially on a time like that when they've just been knocked down, I'll probably give a
So talk to him one-on-one.
Talk to him and probably give him a couple of steps and just wake him up and just let him know that he's about to lose the fight if he doesn't put it together, because it's past halfway of the fight. It's very important what he does in the next 1 or 2 rounds.
Second last round coming up now, and we're scoring him down here as a guess, we may say, fairly evenly.
Do you think this is a very good evenly matched fight, Steve?
I think so, very much so. Very much so.
The promoter must have done a pretty good job here.
I think the referee, Bruce Haynes, is trying to keep it a very flowing fight too, but is having much difficulty. These two young athletes are certainly going out of hammer and tongs.
Yes, and it is making it a bit more harder for the referee as they just throw a couple of hits and one of them just grabs on. Because like as we saw, both guys have got the power to drop each other down, and they're trying not to take any risks. Each time they're close in a dangerous hinge, one of them will grab the other one.
Ange Goussis fighting in the light trunks and Sam Soliman in the dark trunks here. This is Festival Hall, Melbourne in Australia, and kickboxing, Major League. On the ropes again, and Bruce Haynes, the referee. It'll be in a lather of sweat before long. Bruce, this is trying to keep a flowing fight. Goussis again, the aggressor. Both fighters have scored a knockdown so far, respectively in rounds 2 and 3.
I think the last round is going to be very interesting, and whichever boy finishes on top on the last round should be able to take this fight out. The fight is still pretty close.
Now that is the fourth time Bruce Haynes has had to speak to these guys and trying to get the fight flowing.
Yes, there's a lot of grabbing, especially by Sam at this stage, and each time a grab is trying to break off, you can see some accidental elbows or headbutts coming through, so the referee's got to be very careful here.
And on the back pedal this time it was Ange Goussis. Sam Soliman in there. Big strong upper body, muscling him into the neutral corner. And the bell. Well, gentlemen, we have one round remaining, and I've still got them fairly even. Maybe just Soliman ahead.
Well, again, no comment from me.
I still feel the same way, and I think this last round's going to make it all up. Whoever finishes this last round in front, I believe, should take the fight out. It's been pretty close by both boys. They both got a knockdown each, and they've both been attacking pretty strongly.
Bruce Haynes also needing a breather at this particular stage in time as they're grabbing his breath over there as Howard Lee goes through the preliminaries for our final round here tonight. This is for the ISKA Australian Full Contact Light Middleweight title, and as we've explained before, the situation is no contact below the belt.
That's correct, no below kicking. And as you were talking about Bruce before, he has done 4 straight fight refereeing, so I believe he's pretty tired. This should be his last one, and he will deserve a good rest after this.
Joe Isiano, in fact, joining us for the next bout, and Joe officiating as a judge.
At the moment, he is officiating as a judge, and like he said, he will be refereeing the next 2 fights.
Well, maybe, just maybe, with Soliman just ahead on points, we go into the final round. This will be 2 minutes of absolute mayhem. The title's up for grabs. Have a look at this.
I believe that was a bit of a slip and a bit of a push.
Yes, I wouldn't call it anything else. Goussis on the aggression. Soliman spins him around into the ropes. Goussis back again. The right kick. Soliman left and right combination. This is going to be a slug job. And Goussis has got the staying power. He's back into it.
I think Sam put in a couple of very clean shots there and slowed it out very nicely from the corner. But I'm sure Ange is not going to let go of it there.
Goussis certainly displayed to us that he's got the stamina it takes. He come back in that one. Both the guys clinching. Time ticking away at this stage. Definitely a points decision. Bruce Haynes trying to give him a fair go again. Soliman on the aggression. Clinching again. Flurry of fists. Referee trying to get out the way. Both of these fine young athletes. Very, very tired. But knowing there's a title at the end of this round. And the time is coming very close. Goussis now the aggressor. Soliman steps back. Goussis tries for a front push kick. Didn't do so. Soliman again. In on the ropes. Soliman still working. And again, the referee pulls them apart. Soliman in again. Goussis spins him around.
It's amazing. I thought that Sam will be a bit more unfitter than Ange, but the way the fight is progressing,
That's it. It's going to be
Sam's finished with more pressure at the end, and he's put a couple of clean shots in the middle of that last round. So I believe Sam should have won that last fight. If it comes back to what we said before, last round should win the fight. I think Sam might be a little bit in front on this fight.
I wouldn't agree totally there, Tarek. I mean, Sam was using fairly cunning tactics there. He'd throw maybe one or two combinations and then dive in and grab Ange, not allowing him to do anything to counter it. So
I've got to tell you, Steve, I wouldn't like
tactics that might have won him the fight. You're right.
I wouldn't like to be the judge on it. I've got to tell you.
Well,
it could be very, very close.
if we all can wait another minute or two, I'm pretty sure we can see the outcome of it. But I think at this point, Sam should have won the fight.
Well, I'm sticking with Ange.
So it's going to be a judge's decision to decide on the new title holder for the ISKA Australian Full Contact Light Middleweight division.
Ladies and gentlemen, by split points in the new ISKA Australian Light Middleweight Champion, second, Pony Boy Soliman. And commiserations, Ange Goussis. Come on, a big round of applause for the Angel, losing very closely. Sam, duck away. Sam Soliman, come across, Sam. Thanks, Nick Matthew. George, Sam, come across and bring your fiancé in. Jackie, come in and celebrate with Sam before we talk to Sam. George, come round here. Put your arm round. Sam, listen away, look towards the camera. Congratulations against the great champion, Ange Goussis.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. I expected him to be a good fighter. I've seen a lot of his fights and I knew it was going to be a hard case. It was imperative that I move. That's about all I can say. And I really thank my trainer, Dave Getchkoff, and my stable mates. And also, I had another trainer that used to train me. And without Dave Getchkoff and Dave Berry, I wouldn't be even know this. I'd like to thank Frankston Warriors, the Perennial Warriors, the Maximoids that got into that. And also like to thank two people who have helped me out since I haven't had work, I haven't had money, and they trusted I could do this. Rihanna over there, Gerard Restaurant, Frankston, and Lee up the hair, Con Davis. I'd like to thank them too. And my dad, he didn't even want me to fight despite I had a cold and I was wheezing and coughing, and he said no, and I worked hard, I trained, and I believed I could do it, and he trusted me after that, and I was going to fight. Thank you very much. I'd like to say that's my lovely girlfriend here. She stuck also by me. I know I'm going soft, you know.